Every day, millions of people from all over the world share one great desire that could change their lives forever: to learn a new language. However, even though we have never had so much information available, many of us still struggle and ultimately fail. Why is that? What are we doing wrong? And how can you prevent this from happening to you? That's what this video is all about. If it's your first time on this channel, my name is Rafael. I don't know if you've already noticed this, but English isn't my native language. I'm from Brazil, and just like many of you, I have never been able to leave my country to learn English. But after many years studying on my own at home, making countless mistakes along the way, and watching a lot of people both giving up and succeeding, maybe I can share with you my 2 cents on why people fail to learn languages. So if you're interested, all I'm asking is for you to give this video a thumbs up to show me some support. Thanks in advance, and let's get into it. Mistake number 1, building your relationship with the language. This one should be obvious, but trust me, it isn't. You have no idea how many people ultimately fail because of how they deal with language learning from the start. If you don't have a clear reason why you're learning a new language, or even if you do but this is just a task for you, if there's nothing natural about it and you don't enjoy anything along the way, that makes the whole process way harder than already is. Think of it as putting together a huge puzzle with thousands of pieces. Each one of them alone doesn't look like much, and when you see all that mess, it doesn't make any sense. But each piece has its value, and combined together, they make a perfect picture. The way I see it, when people focus too much on study methods, memorization hacks, exercises, flashcards, and anything like that, it's kind of like just looking for the exact piece that matches with the previous one and forgetting to explore the rest of the puzzle. It's not that it won't work, but remember, this puzzle has thousands of pieces. If that's the only way you're trying to put it together, then you're making this even harder than it has to be. At the end of the day, maybe you're taking all the fun away from it. I know we don't usually think about this because it happens naturally, but what really made you learn your native language was your daily interaction with it since the day you were born. I think the same thing applies here when it comes to learning a new language. You need to develop ways that not only will encourage you to keep going, but also that it will make you feel that you're not studying at all. If you start doing things that you naturally enjoy doing, your mind is likely to associate this with positive emotions. Watching movies, TV shows, or YouTube, listening to music or podcasts, playing video games, laughing at memes, talking to people. I've always considered all of these activities as great opportunities to learn without having to study. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should never study or that it will be easy and fun all the time, but what I'm saying here is that our relationship with the language should be more about living it than studying it. Mistake number 2, focusing too much on minor things and seeking perfection. Imagine this scenario. You really like someone, but there's no way they can approach you, and if you don't make a move, it's never gonna happen. It's kind of like the same thing here with language learning. If you are too shy to express yourself, if you let your fears take control of your actions, or if you just wait until everything is perfectly aligned, then it'll be very difficult for you to get what you want and become who you want to be. In this life, we gotta take risks and understand that it's natural to make mistakes. It happens to everybody, and actually, it's one of the best ways to learn. If you think that you should master things like having a perfect grammar, getting rid of your accent, and starting thinking automatically without any blanks before you actually start using the language for real, then you're mistaken. It should be the other way around. Repetition, letting yourself make mistakes, and exposing yourself more and more to the real world are the keys for you to get enough experience to feel comfortable and confident with the language. I totally get that it could be embarrassing and intimidating because we're not in our comfort zone, but overcoming our fears is more rewarding than you think. Besides, a lot of people out there are supportive and understanding. For many of us, when a foreigner is trying to learn a language, we feel flattered. It's exciting, and we usually don't care about their mistakes or their accent as long as we understand them. Remember, this is not your native language. It's not fair to demand perfection from you. And to be honest, even native speakers make mistakes all the time. Why should you be the perfect one? Would you make fun of someone if they make a grammar mistake or speak with an accent in your language? Trust me, everything's much worse here than in real life. Mistake number 3, not balancing the 4 skills. I can't really tell how many times I've heard something like this. I can read, I can understand everything, but I can't speak. When someone tells me this story, what usually happens is this. First, you started to learn by reading because it felt easier and it was more comfortable. Then you started listening, and only later on you tried some writing, which was a little challenging already, to finally maybe have the chance to speak. But then it was a disaster. Well, it's not that hard to understand why this happens. If you just study and interact with the language through reading, for example, it's absolutely natural that this is going to be your strongest skill. But this doesn't necessarily mean that speaking is actually harder. I don't know what's the reality of our country, but at least in mine, unfortunately, there are some people who speak our language, but they have never been able to learn how to read. Try telling them that reading is easier. It's all about how you balance your 4 skills. If you feel that one of them is way behind the others, then clearly that should be your focus from now on. I know that finding natives to practice is quite a challenge, but even so, there are some techniques for you to practice alone. From the most traditional ones like repeating after what other people are saying, to even talking to AI or recording yourself and comparing to native speakers. The point is, even though it's not easy to change our habits, our skills are nothing more than the outcome of our actions. A very wise man once said, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results." And finally, mistake number 4, setting unrealistic expectations and comparing yourself with others. Let me tell you this first and foremost. It doesn't matter how good, fast, and effective someone's method is. At the end of the day, the process of learning a language takes time. This is not something that you can nail in a matter of days or weeks. At least not if you want to achieve any kind of comfortable proficiency or even fluency. If you still believe that, stop it. Get some help. I hate being the bad news guy, but I strongly believe that I must be honest with you. I'm not saying that you can make impressive, remarkable progress in a short period of time. You sure can. But I think one of the main reasons why people ultimately give up is because they're setting unrealistic expectations and putting too much pressure on themselves. You see, there are countless videos on YouTube and all over the internet promising unbelievable fast results. And this is actually hurting people because it's inevitable to not compare yourself to them. I mean, how couldn't you? Maybe you're struggling and trying really hard for months or even years. Then suddenly someone shows up saying they could make it in 6 months or less. What's wrong with us then? Why can't we do this? It's almost impossible to not feel like a failure. But trust me, you're not. If you think that my English is at least somehow decent, just know that I've been on this journey for so many years now that sometimes I don't really remember when I actually started. And please, I don't mean to brag here whatsoever. Even nowadays, I still make stupid grammatical mistakes. I still struggle sometimes to understand people. Native speakers can definitely notice my accent. And when people compliment me on my English, I still think they are just being nice. But you know what? Deep down, although I still struggle sometimes, I know that my English is actually good enough and that all my hard work during all those years is paying off. So this final message is for you. Don't compare yourself. Everyone has their own pace and their own time. This is not a race and there's not a finishing line. This is a journey in which you're going to improve each and every day. Be patient, be consistent, and you're going to succeed. I give you my word. You can do it. It's just a matter of time. Keep going and never give up.